I never dreamed I'd have one son die from a heroin overdose, never mind two. Jake and Roll were born 3.5 years apart, but they were the best of friends from day one, and whatever Jake did, Roland wanted to do. To start with, Jake was a really happy little boy. He was very, very creative and intelligent, but as he went through middle school, he seemed to become sadder quite a lot of the time. And then he just became a really sullen teenager. We just thought that we'd been lucky to get away with our first son, Jonathan, not showing those signs of a terrible teenager. I realised when Jake and Roll were in later teenage that they were using drugs, cannabis, amphetamines, magic mushrooms. I would have the conversations with them that you were supposed to have, which in those days it was always just say no. They would leave me feeling reassured. Sometimes they would actually say that they thought people who took drugs were stupid. The police were involved a few times. Oh, Jeremy and I would have long discussions about what the boys were doing and what could we do about it. Eventually, they started using heroin and things got worse. I couldn't feel that I could say to anybody that my sons were using drugs, and especially not heroin, because of the opinion people have of drug users and would have judged me as a parent, thinking how on earth could she bring her boys up to be like that. When the truth was, I'd done everything I could to support them and try to bring them up in the right way. When Roll was 23, he was at a friend's house. Their parents were away. We wonder if the reason they didn't call 999 immediately was because they thought the police might become involved and they were afraid of getting into trouble. By the time they did call 999 and the ambulance arrived, it was too late. Roland was dead. Jake managed to turn his life around eventually in the years that followed. He worked hard, got back into exercise, undertook a master's degree, found a partner and had a baby. But I don't think he ever really got over the guilt of the way his little brother died. Just when I thought Jake would stay drug-free forever, he relapsed. He kept it secret from everyone and thought he could deal with it himself. He was found dead alone in his room. I just feel that if instead of going to a street dealer to get those drugs when he relapsed, he'd been able to go to a clinic where there would have been counselling and advice at the same time, there would have been a completely different outcome. People will always want to take drugs. You're never going to be able to stop people taking drugs. This is why I want the government to look at ways in which we could change our drugs laws to make people safer. 10 miles from here is a natural burial ground. 2 of my sons are lying there. I'm hoping that with the Anyone's Child campaign, we might be able to prevent other people's children ending up in the same way.